What is up, all you bulls out there? I just messed up my intro. But we are here with Monday Night Overwatch. We've got USF Gold up against St. Leo. USF still undefeated, St. Leo looking for their first win. I'm John, joined alongside Harley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I had a bit of a rough day. You know, I had some good classes, some other stuff that went on. But we're here now. I'm excited for USF to continue their tear through the Southeast and NACE Varsity.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here today. I'm excited to talk about Overwatch. I put a lot of hours into Overwatch, so really excited to, see the USF Gold team and what they have in store. Yeah,
they have been, I think, the most dominant team in NACE, or one of the most dominant teams in NACE Varsity. It's like there's divisions of 10 teams, and pretty much at the top of all of them, there's one team at 7-0. And I think that this team has only dropped 2 maps the entire season, which is absolutely insane to think about. Just how precise you have to be and how strong of a team you have to be to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm very, very, very excited to see what they do with this match because, as you said before, USF Gold is undefeated. So I'm curious to see how St. Leo is going to, combat this. Are they going to knock the Bulls off of their podium?
Yeah, see if they can try and do something. I mean, again, St. Leo, they are still looking for their first win, which is unfortunate. They've really struggled this season. But, that means you have nothing to lose, and you can feel free to experiment sometimes with your compositions, how you want to approach the game. And sometimes even the top teams can get thrown off by that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. If you can choose something that's off meta and confuse the opposing side, you can really throw them off their game with that, and it could grant them a win.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just really intrigued to see where we start. I believe we're starting on either Lijiang or Oasis, so those are both 2 traditionally strong USF maps. And I mean, I feel like the Overwatch meta as of late, it's supposed to be like, D.Va with some main tank, and then you'll have like a Cassidy and maybe a diver mixed in there, and of course a Baptiste in the support role. But this green team likes to mix things up. I mean, Jhin, I think best Zenyatta in Americas, and you look at Dirk the Turk, an absolute monster on the Rhine, and it's been working for him.
Yeah. Usually you're seeing Baptiste in a lot of these metas recently. It's been used a couple of times, I think, by the Gold team. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious to see, are they going to pull out those champions that they're really powerful with, and those other picks that maybe St. Leo isn't quite expecting? Yeah,
definitely. I know that at least from watching Green last week, there were some pretty fun picks. I mean, Kirito was an absolute menace on everything he picked up. Playing the Mei, playing the Cassidy. Meathouse Cassidy is absolutely insane. And, the Green and the Gold team, they actually sometimes work pretty closely together, doing some VOD reviews together, scrimming at times. And I really hope that we see, some of those elements we're seeing in Green sort of coming from Gold, and the refined, the most optimized version of those strategies in play.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the mingling of USF Gold and USF Green working together, I feel like they can learn from each other, not just, Gold rubbing off on Green, but even Green teaching Gold, hey, maybe you don't have to do that typical, meta that you've been thinking of.
Yeah, definitely. As we can hear the game sounds coming through, we are about to get online, and we're about to get into the first map of this best of 5, USF up against St. Leo. Does sound like we might be going to Oasis, but I also haven't played the game in a minute, so I could be completely making something up. And we're on Nepal, so I was completely wrong. But we've got 3 control points, and I'm excited.
Yeah, Nepal is actually one of my favorite maps because of the, the edge over on the side where you can, boot people off with the correct Lucio boop, That's going to be exciting.
And we're already seeing Name picking up that Lucio. Hopefully it stays locked in. For USF, we've got Jhin and Kinto. Bap and Zenyatta has given this team a lot of success, and there's Dirk on the Rhine, Bebop on the D.Va, and Huey on that Mei. On the Mei. And this is like their bread and butter, it feels.
Oh, it looked like Bebop was considering Roadhog right there, but it looks like they're sticking to their typical style of play, at least from what I've seen from the Gold team. Having that Mei on their team with the icicles, the walls, and having the Baptiste, and even, the Lucio too.
Yeah, definitely. Kinto did swap up, and USF picking up the first 2, making 3 kills of this fight. Defensive Mei wall forced out to slow things down from USF, but they're going to get this first fight, that control, and Kinto still wreaking havoc in the backline alongside Bebop, trying to keep him alive. Swap to that healing, and first point take does go over to USF off that high ground fight.
Yeah, that May wall up on that high ground really messed up St. Leo. You know, it got them caught in that small little choke point there and allowed for Saki on the soldier to be able to just, you know, tear through them.
I mean, just do soldier things, you know, be that high DPS as St. Leo looking for a way in, trying to use Yahit's shield, but again, that Ryan shield down to 1600, not what it's used to be. And one thing that's interesting out of St. Leo, they're running 2 main tanks, and I'm not sure how well it's going to work, as we might just see those boops you're talking about as Dirk, Bebop, and the rest of USF were ready for this attack from St. Leo and are looking to shut it down. Bebop already at 80%, trying to pick up that Diva Bomb, and of course the rest of the team using that window from Jin to wipe St. Leo once again.
Yeah, having that Kinto on Lucio in the back line, you know, I watched him, you know, just bouncing around, wall skating off the map, you know, trying to push them into an area where USF could essentially bully them into a corner, kind of. So I really think that aggressiveness from Kinto on the Lucio is actually working really well for USF.
Yeah, it definitely is. An aggressive Lucio is sometimes the scariest thing to run into, as we're going to see how St. Leo tries to take the point. A couple ultis already committed from USF. Bebop finding one with the bomb, and now there's the Blizzard out of St. Leo to try and gain a little bit of space once you've already lost 3. Looks like this fight is already lost, and Bebop and Huey finding the last members, and Complex, you're in the wrong side of the map, as this ball is going to nearly escape and just barely does.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about the Reinhardt and Wrecking Ball duo. I feel like, you know, they're kind of leaving their backline people sort of open, because the minute Yayit goes down, I mean, what is the Wrecking Ball going to do besides, you know, charge in and possibly get kills, but leaving the backline exposed? I feel like they could have a more aggressive, more you know, dominant tank.
Yeah, and it's sort of, you know, what role are these 2 main tanks trying to fit? You know, you don't have that off tank, you don't have that Diva, you don't have that Roadhog to sort of make space and try and develop picks. You just have these 2 members that, in my opinion, you know, while Ryan and Hammond, you know, you can throw their ultis together, you don't have the same synergy that you might have with, you know, a Diva Ryan, where both of these characters are sort of fighting for space.
Or even adding like a Zarya onto that to you know, work with some of the other ults they have on their team, just with the Graviton Surge. But I mean, we're gonna see what St. Leo decides to pull out now. I mean, Saki switched off of the Cassidy, I believe he was.
That was a soldier.
Oh, he was a soldier before, correct. Okay. He switched off the soldier onto Tracer. I'm wondering what he's thinking here.
Yeah, I mean, Saki is a very, very strong Tracer. And now it does look like St. Leo tried to go for some Symmetra teleport shenanigans, but not able to make it work, as we've just got this bird's eye view of the pharmacy out of USF now just wreaking havoc onto the front line of St. Leo as Yayit goes down. And even though Dirk went down earlier on that, Hammond will get revived, and this is going to be first point once again taken by USF. As just so much damage coming out from Huey and Kinto on this pharmacy.
Yeah, you can tell that both teams decided that maybe the Baptiste wasn't quite the move for their healing, but you know, switching to that Mercy can maybe at least give St. Leo a little extra time, you know, to possibly push the point, wait for the ultis to build up. But it doesn't seem like it's working that well for them, considering USF also switched on to Mercy and are working with that Far Mercy combo, Kinto and Huey. So it's looking really deadly here.
It is looking really tough, and now we're seeing Jin step forward on that Lucio, keeping those tanks alive, as it does look like Richie is trying to pick off Bebop, but won't be able to quite do it until Yayit comes in with the big hammer to shut things down. But Yui with the barrage finds 2 in the back and completely flips this fight. Although Genesis bring about Tammy does help, and Kinto responds with Bebop, and it's a flurry of kills going back and forth as Jin's just running around with Saki to try and keep these picks going, keep that pressure for USF as they continue to tally up more points onto the board. And eventually USF will be able to win this war of attrition, just landing a couple more shots and finding those kills.
Yeah, having that Lucio, Jin on the Lucio, bouncing around with Saki, you know, it's adding speed onto more speed with Tracer. So it's not looking good for St. Leo, because they don't have a way to combat Jin's Lucio. You know, he's bouncing around. They don't have any kind of like way to pick him off like from the sky. Like if they switched to Farah, maybe they'd be able to get some distance from him and pick him off from the sky, but it's not quite working for them.
Yeah, and here we're seeing the sound barrier committed by both teams, and the minefield from Dirk was used as well. Genesis the first to fall, and that's the worst one. As again, Mercy can't res herself, as we're seeing Beatbop's bomb find 2. Name and Richie off the map, as Complex is gonna try and hold on to, or at least contest this site. Might actually be able to get a recap. And that's pretty interesting. Must have used the minefield for that one, but now USF going back onto point, and looks like that will be it for this first map. USF squarely taking Nepal 2-0. Of course, there is going to be that overtime, but the Blizzard, utilized by Richie, find a little bit of contest time. Genesis did battle Mercy on Akinto, and the barrage used just to find anyone trickling in, as, again, a very, very clean opening map from USF.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing St. Leo actually for a small period of time take that point. It seemed like they were almost distracting USF Gold team to kind of make their way onto the point and maybe even contest it, you know. And they did. They found a way to. I think they just need to sort of rethink their team comps and rethink how they're going about this battle to overcome USF.
Yeah, as we were just saying in the play of the game, it was that opening fight that did sort of set the tempo, set how it feels like this game is started to unfold. You know, that map on Nepal, very, very strong from USF, and St. Leo maybe with a couple draft issues in a sense. Maybe they need to try out some different team compositions, and we'll see if they have anything in the tank for that, as we're going to go to a very, very quick break as we load up map 2 for you all of USF versus St. Leo. And welcome back, as we just saw USF take a very, very dominant 2-0 on Nepal to pick up the first map of this series. And now we're going to have to see if St. Leo maybe has any answers. We're talking about some of those composition issues that they might have been facing. Yeah,
I definitely think they should try and match that Far Mercy combo. Maybe, obviously, not with another Far Mercy, but who knows? Maybe it could actually work for St. Leo. If they want to do an aerial battle, maybe it'll actually pull out something. But maybe getting some of that, like, hit scan and all that, you know, a Cassidy, maybe a Soldier, anything to try and, you know, take them out of the sky, because that's a real threat to them, as we saw in the last match.
It most certainly is, and it looks like they are trying to find that answer with the Ana and the Ashe and the Echo picked up. So we've got the dogfight answer, we've got the hit scan answer. But I mean, also, this is Scrim's Row, so we'll have to see if USF even wants to go for that pharmacy once again. It does look like, though, they are going for the top of the statue strat, where you go Symmetra, teleport the Bastion on top, and you throw everyone else, and you have the Sigma absorb all of the shots that go up, and Bastion just rain terror.
Honestly, if that works for them, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be so, like, just fun to see, because it's not something you, like, typically expect to happen, but who knows, maybe St. Leo is actually looking for it right now.
Yeah, I remember the first time we saw it. Oh, there it is! Here we go! We've got the Bastion Reign of Terror trying to stay alive, as Bebop on the Mercy is trying to keep him up and healthy, as we do see some role swaps out of USF, maybe trying to test out their roster, test out that depth for a little bit, as Jin, Bebop doing the most on these healers. They are going to find that first point off of that little bit of Bastion cheese, and we'll look to potentially set up that pirate ship as the payloads sort of period begins.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised that nobody picked Mei, because I feel like Mei is a very popular pick on this map because of the choke points you can kind of hold with her Mei wall. But seeing USF Gold actually pick that whole, like, Symmetra and the Bastion and the Mercy combo with the Sigma absorbing all the damage, it is crazy how that can work for a team.
Yeah, it's crazy fun, and we'll have to see if St. Leo can strike back here on Street, as Kinto trying to do what he can on this Sigma, but after Bebop going down, that's your biggest healer, and now Jin stranded, trying to stay alive, but will need some serious help to get out. Does have the Transcendence available, so that might be an escape option if they choose to use it that way. And now that extra shield from St. Leo, keeping them alive, keeping them healthy. As the rest of the team comes forward, should finally be able to save Private Jin and get things going. Genesis able to find Dirk, and now this charged up Orisa will be pretty difficult to handle, although there's the Gravitic Flux. Finds the entire team as Saki with a 4K to shut down this St. Leo squad once again.
Wow, that was quite a play from USF Gold. I mean, even with Jin, you know, stuck in a corner, and, you know, the St. Leo team being able to like possibly push in on him and take him out. They had the Bastion camped in the room directly across from him. You know, Saki was just kind of sitting there waiting, you know, kind of teasing them like, hey, come Genshin, see if you can really take him. And, you know, that was really interesting of them. I'm wondering why St. Leo hasn't picked anything to combat this Bastion. You know, not even like a Pharah in the sky, nothing that's like more, maybe, I don't know, somebody that can stay at distance.
Something that can work, but it seems like all your answers are going to fall to Saki's cannons as that supercharger is forcing the Bastion back, but still have 2 picks already gone. Tammy getting the next to fall, and yeet on the Orisa getting shredded by the Bastion, as looks like Gravitic Flux copied by the side of St. Leo from Richie, but isn't going to do nearly enough work without a team, as USF is just continuing to wipe this Genesis, nearly going down. Symmetra wall used to cordon off as they are looking to push this payload. Nearly 5 minutes on the clock. That is absurd to think about, as we've just got the Saki just death cam.
Man, Saki has just been tearing through them with this Bastion. Oh, and he got him with the Shatter. That was pretty good. That was pretty good to try and combat him, but it looks like it doesn't really stop USF. Saki is still going.
Yeah, it feels like it's too little too late as USF get the full push with 4.5 minutes. I mean, that is so much time, and St. Leo would have to, you know, do something insane to answer.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that Bastion was just ruining St. Leo's day. And it didn't seem like they really had anything strong to kind of stop Saki's reign of terror on that Bastion. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if they're going to take a play out of USF Gold's book, you know? Are they going to try and see if they can work that combo and see if it has as good synergy as, you know, USF Gold has? But I'm just curious, you know, are they going to be able to push through as fast as USF Gold did, or is USF Gold just going to hold their own?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the first time I saw this strat employed in Collegiate was last fall, and it was USF up against Cedarville. And USF actually picked the Mei in order to counter that Bastion strategy, where the second you see the Symmetra teleport come up, you throw down the Mei wall and they can't go through it. And so so I wouldn't be surprised if USF, expecting St. Leo to try some of those same shenanigans, just picks up a Mei here. But it doesn't seem like they will. They have Huey on the Genji and no Mei in sight. So maybe they feel like they don't need it. The slow-mo emote. Very much enjoy it.
Yeah. On USF Gold is looking like they're really, you know, enjoying this game. They're picking these comps that, you know, they were, like, at first when you speak about it, it seems silly, you know, but, like, it's working for them. They have such good synergy as a team that they're just able to make these plays super effective.
Oh, man, and that deflect kill onto the Sim, that one, or onto the Zenyatta, that one really does hurt. As we can see, Saki's in the back line on the Reaper, just waiting for or actually he's behind the wall, so he's waiting for an opportunity. And see, this is one of those effective answers to the Bastion. You've got that Genji, just that full deflect, but Dirt going down might be the pick that St. Leo needs to get things rolling, as they haven't been able to find anyone else yet, but are pushing forward this array of turrets to try and do something. Saki caught between a rock and a hard place, but does still have the escape option. Will go back to safety, and Yui and Kinto find 2 to respond, and St. Leo once again on the back foot.
Commander Huey on the Genji is really, like, you know, pulling his weight, honestly. Like, we had Saki trapped in that corner, and, you know, Huey just came in and just kind of was a knight in shining armor to Saki and just ran in and pushed off the enemy so Saki could escape. So that was a really good play by Huey.
We have a Nano Blade right here. So we've got 1. We've nearly got 2. That's all I want to see this blade keep on going, because Huey's so much fun to watch on this Genji. Does find 2. Saki finds another 2, and looked like Complex was just trying to back Cap, but wasn't able to find any progress.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like he was just trying to escape and maybe get a tick off of that objective, but, you know, Huey is just oppressing them in their spawn right now on this Genji. I really think the Genji and the Zarya kind of combo works really well, just because, you know, you have the Graviton Surge, you have the
bubble, you have everything. Yeah. As Kinto found an aggressive opening with the mines and isn't even letting St. Leo escape their base. This is the point we've talked about. It feels every single stream we've had USF gold and green on. They excel at keeping you in your base, and that is exactly what we're seeing right here.
Yeah, it seems like a common trait, you know, of USF, just in general, you know, pushing you into your spawn and kind of trying their best to keep you in there to stall for time, essentially, because, I mean, it's either, you know, you take them out or you just get pushed back into spawn, that kind of thing. And if you don't have the right team comp to combat this synergy that USF has, then, I mean, you're just stuck.
Yeah, you certainly are, and it looks like USF's over-aggression has finally been punished by St. Leo. They had the ultimate timing, they had the abilities, and they had everything else they needed. Huey here trying to be that knight in shining armor, hold the point, prevent this full cap from coming through, and Kinto coming in as well, but the mines out of St. Leo going too strong, and the Dragon Blade immediately shut down, but the Death Blossom might not. 3 already dead. Yai takes down Saki. Might be enough to survive, but a Nano Lucio dancing around site. This is so scattered, just trying to survive. Sleep down onto Richie on the Bastion. Does get purpled, so forced to retreat behind the shield, and still only 2 ticks garnered off of that fight. Now USF finally back. They've got that Graviton Surge, and the EMP, though, from St. Leo might be what they needed to finally take down this point, but USF very sticky. Saki somehow staying alive, and Huey as well. I don't know how they do it, but they just dance around. But the final point does go, or the first point does go down to St. Leo, and they've got 3 minutes on the clock to try and push through streets.
I will say that was a great push from St. Leo. You know, it seemed like a very even fight. USF Gold got a little bit too cocky. They got a little bit too aggressive. They were pushed up on their spawn, and that led for St. Leo to be able to charge up all their ults and basically just use them all on USF Gold to kind of, you know, reset them and push them away so they could get ticks off the point. And, you know, Huey and Saki, you know, did their best to stall it. You know, you had the failed Dragon Blade. Sadly, he died before it got popped off. And then Saki with his Death Blossom. Well, that was great stalling. And even Jin doing his best to stay alive on the Ana. That was, they did their best, but in the end, St. Leo just overcame it with all their ults.
Yeah, that they did, but now they've got 2 left in the tank, USF with none. And this initial streets hold, USF, I think, was trying to push them back towards their spawn once again. But St. Leo, they're learning, they're adapting, they're figuring this out. And now Dirk, caught behind enemy lines, looking for the Sombra, might be able to find it. There's 1 kill to get things started, but no other teammates to get any more of that charge. But still at 40%, that laser does quite a bit of damage and is now just waiting for a team to try and rescue him out, but might not be able to find any assistance. Again, this is a tough spot to be in. Beatbuff, though, finds name. Richie responds, and this is just so back and forth. And it's great to see St. Leo finally getting these answers against USF's dominance.
I will agree. They definitely have a team comp that is kind of battling that like oppression that USF Gold was kind of putting them through. You know, they took out the Reinhardt for the shield. They brought out the Wrecking Ball for the for the bombs that he can lay with his ult, and then, you know, they have the they took the Bastion play right out of USF Gold's book and is kind of doing their best to have him camp on the payload.
Oh man, the hook into death is just always so brittle, as we're seeing Yui use that dash, find a kill, and now USF, they are slowing things down. 1 minute left for St. Leo, and remember, USF, even if this were to go all the way back, as St. Leo needs to finish streets first, but they still have 4.5 minutes behind if St. Leo can manage to bring this one back. So still a very tall mountain for them to climb, but they're showing signs of life, they're showing options. But now with Huey, with this Dragon Blade, could turn into a Nano Blade, but not if you run face first into a Bastion.
Yeah, I feel like he was trying to get himself into enemy lines. You can see the Zarya ult just got popped there. It looked like they wanted to kind of combine that, but it didn't quite work just because, you know, that Tammy on the Sombra was there to kind of ruin his day, hack him. He couldn't use his deflect, and, you know, ultimately the Bastion was just able to tear through him.
Yeah, but still, that fight taking place so close to St. Leo's spawn means that USF have been able to push them back. Complex trying to contest, trying to buy time for the team to make it over, but it looks like it might be too little too late, and we're already seeing Saki here with the Death Blossom setup. Richie, though, already finding 2, and Huey being one of them, but the Death Blossom's big, but Richie's bigger, finding another kill. And again, this Bastion play, this Bastion pickup might be just what the doctor ordered for St. Leo.
I definitely agree. I feel like, oh, and Kinto is all the way back in their spawn.
I'm not sure how that happened. All the way back in the enemy starting spawn, not even the one they're using right now. So that is the biggest wraparound I have ever seen. As again, St. Leo, they're in overtime. 2 members on this cart looking to try and make it to this second checkpoint, whereas USF, now they're contesting. Dirk getting melted immediately, and that's the trouble now. No ultimates, no immediate way to break through. Trying to hold on to this point, but might just be forced to give it away. Jin dancing on that Lucio, but can't make enough music to stay alive, as this will be a full reset from USF, as Yui looking to set up on the Bastion of his own.
Yeah, it looked like Huey kind of whipped out his own Bastion and wants to give Richie a taste of his own medicine, seeing if seeing if he can combat the Bastion himself if other people can't do it.
Sorry, I gasped because I saw Dirk doing
the
under attack, and it doesn't quite work out. Does get burned down once again by Richie, but does buy a little space for Huey to get set up.
I do think that definitely juked out St. Leo. They were like, where did this wrecking ball come from?
As now we're seeing Cisco getting shot down a little bit by Kinto as the hack does come down. And honestly, USF, they're being pushed back all the way to last point. Very, very close, and St. Leo might be able to force this to a playoff overtime. Now remember, USF does have a lot of time in the tank, and now they've got that Bastion ulti. They've got everything else. They've got that tank form. So it's going to be very tough to push it in. But a full reset, there is the EMP, there is the Shatter, and there is the Coalescence. So a lot of resources there for St. Leo, though.
Yeah, and then compared to USF Gold, Huey has his ult, but I mean, USF really needs to start prioritizing their ults, because if they're able to get something like the Gravitic Flux with possibly the Hanzo ult off of Saki, this might be good. A team wipe is exactly what USF needs, but can they get it?
It is what they need, but Saki and Kinto finding 2. Yayi in the back line doing quite a bit of work. There's the Dragons to try and buy a little bit of space, but doesn't do too much, as this is an absolute brawl on point. But it looks like it's just the tanks really left standing, and you can't survive too long without your heals. Good target selection from USF. A solid fight, and this looks to be a solid win, as there's just 1 member left near the point, and USF goes up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, I think USF's prioritization of all the backline people, the supports, the damage dealers, it was a good call by USF, because tanks without their supports can't really do much once you take down their shield, once you take down all of that health they have. But with Huey on the Bastion, I mean, you can't really do much here.
Yeah, you can't do much. As we saw play of the game, it was Richie on that Bastion again, taking a page out of the USF's playbook, as they did it so well on that first take. But now, backs against the wall, St. Leo, they've been improving throughout this series. We saw them find some answers in Game 2. Now, I will say, USF, they might have been throwing a couple, more fun comps, for lack of a better word. So we'll see if maybe they tighten up a little bit in their draft for Game 3, or if they keep doing this and see if St. Leo can exploit those maneuvers. But we'll have to find out right after a very, very short break, as we're loading up that Game 3 for you all. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Monday Night Overwatch, as we just saw USF have a much tighter game against St. Leo. Now, while, yes, it was still quite convincing with USF taking the point, and, with 4.5 minutes to spare, and St. Leo nearly making it, but not quite getting stopped by USF at the very end. St. Leo showing signs of life, but USF also doing some more unorthodox compositions and having a couple people off roll.
Yeah, I really think that USF Gold has to be careful with how confident they're being, or maybe even how, it's
a little bit of disrespect, it seems,
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes, when you are the top dog, taking on the team that is at the bottom of the standings. Sometimes that does come into play, but, USF, it looks like they are still having Beep Up on DPS, but Beep Up did used to be a DPS, so it's not like it's that crazy. So we are seeing them still with those slight changes, but they do have to be careful, because the moment you count someone out is the second that they will show up to fight.
Yes, I definitely agree. The moment they start kind of, playing with these more, uncommon compositions, and going against St. Leo, who is obviously still taking this game seriously. They pushed really hard in that second game that we saw. They almost made it to the same point that USF Gold did.
Exactly. As we're seeing first fight, of course, standard high ground take from St. Leo, and USF looking to break it. They do have that Winston to get things rolling, as they're doing this pseudo dive comp with the Zarya and the Hanzo. This is pretty interesting to watch, as Kinto and Jin doing what they can. Kinto finding the counterpart in Genesis and pushing for quite a bit of space. And USF honestly just ignoring that high ground pressure from St. Leo and just pushing the cart all the way forward, nearly to that first checkpoint as Yeet getting pressured by Saki. And this is just a tough position to push back from, though. Richie raining down plenty of damage from the skies on this Echo, as here comes the main fight. Jin already finding Complex on the Sigma. Respawn might come through, but Name going down on that Mercy is big, especially as the Valk had just come up. And that is going to be USF taking the first point.
Yeah, it was a really smart move of USF to have Derek, on Winston, because on this map, high ground is priority. High ground is where you can get most of your picks off with various snipers, Hanzo, even having the Echo flying in the sky. High ground is really important on this map. So having that, Winston to kind of leap into the sky and take those people down is really good on USF Gold's part. One thing I will say is interesting is that they were able to fully push that point, ignoring the high ground. It didn't seem like St. Leo was really pressuring them as hard as they could have with the points they had,
Yeah, as we're seeing, looks like a bit of distraction play out of Jin and those in the back line, forcing St. Leo all the way back, not letting them actually contest this point as Richie and Beatbop in a bit of a duel, but Richie gonna use those grenades to shut it down. Genesis finds Dirk, and now 2 members gone. USF gonna struggle here, but Saki and Huey fighting back with all their might. That's an 80% Zarya, but with very, very little health, just trying to survive, and does eventually get the life sucked out by Genesis. Kinto, once again, caught behind enemy lines, forced to retreat. Although USF, 3 ultis in hand and nearly a 4th with that Graviton Surge nearly online for Saki.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that kind of, pushing into the back lines to distract, although it can work in some circumstances, it did not seem to work for USF here. Bebop and Jin got themselves caught out in that small corridor.
Yeah, as we're seeing the grab, we're seeing the dragons, and it seemed like everyone died before the dragons were even thrown out. Not finding a ton of value, but still a very convincing fight over very, very quickly for USF as Complex and Richie taken out. Genesis goes down, and this is going to be second point taken for USF Gold.
Yes, that was a really good Zarya Graviton Surge. The Hanzo Dragons, it was okay. It was okay.
Like,
it wasn't
the
timed.
idea was there, but the thing is, there was just already so much more damage that had been taken down to everyone who was on the grab. The dragons weren't even really needed.
It was threatening.
It was threatening. It was very, very
sent a
scary.
message.
It certainly sent a message, as now St. Leo with a few ultis to their name might be able to send a message right back, although that Primal Winston doing so much work. As Complex already taken out by Dirk's hands. Bob committed, and this will help contest the point for at least a little while, but is also giving some free charge over to the Zarya. And now it looks like Dirk was just sort of rampaging around that back line, and now here comes the fight. Shatter committed by Yeet, but the immediate Transcendence to respond, and that's going to make life very difficult. And the Death Blossom finds Name, looking for more as Jin does get Yeet, and there's the ulti, there's the Gravitic Flux from Complex, but it's not quite enough as the Coalescence doesn't get the job done from Genesis. Now Richie, Name, and Yeet trying to stay alive, but Richie falls to those right clicks from Saki, and we have reached final fight territory. Waiting on Richie, that's your only ulti, that's your shot. Coalescence committed from Kinto as USF try and close this out as quickly as possible. Name already gone, the Rhine's dead, and so is Richie. It's just Complex, and that laser beam is going to take down the Sigma as a team kill to finish things off. It's a very, very quick 3-point from USF.
Yeah, I feel like that was truly just a battle of the queues. And, in the end, USF Gold had better management of their ults. They had that... St. Leo had the Ash throw out the Bob, and it just didn't get anybody. It just fed the Zarya charge, and it was essentially a means of stalling. But in the end, you wasted that ultimate that could have been used for the Shatter fight with the Reinhardt. But with Jin on the Zenyatta just saving Transcendence just for that moment, so he can make sure his team isn't wiped out by the Shatter. It really was just USF kind of prioritizing.
It was sort of like they were one step ahead when it came to ultis. They maybe pop that first ulti, and then they only need to use 1 to win a fight. And then when the next fight comes around, and maybe St. Leo has 3 and USF only has 2, you still have 2 ultimates to 3, and you can maybe work it out if you use them efficiently. I mean, we saw how much space they were able to get with just Dirk's Primal on that 3rd point. So, again, it feels like USF just a little tighter on some of their ultimates and using them quite efficiently, whereas St. Leo may be struggling to find a way to use them together.
Yeah, I will agree. It seemed like it was just St. Leo throwing one ult out, waiting for it to end, throwing another out, waiting for it to end. There was no, like, there was no coinciding of ults. There was no combination, nothing to try and, pressure USF with anything they had.
Yeah, and speaking of pressure, Bebop doing quite a bit on this Pharah as USF looking for this earlier hold, not going for the high ground, just for a straight-up brawl, as they do seem to be losing at the start as Huey goes down to Yeet, but might fall in turn. Well, the healers from St. Leo doing an outstanding job at keeping their front line alive, and now Saki a little worse for wear, forced to reset, looking for Kinto on the Moira to heal things up, and now Dirk in the 1v1 with the Ryan 1v1, and then Jin actually shot down by Richie. That is a huge takedown, and Saki responds, but still, the fact that he's going 1-for-1, but not till Bebop brings out the barrage, and that is going to shut down St. Leo's push.
That was a fantastic use of Pharah's ult by Bebop. I mean, nobody was paying attention to Bebop up in the skies. I mean, you had that pick off of Jin with the Mercy, but in the end, Bebop had gained enough charge of his ultimate to be able to just, pop it once he lost Jin.
Yeah, exactly. And who needs the Mercy when the Pharah can do enough work? And we're seeing so much work done from this Pharah. Name looking to be the next to fall, and it looks like that may as well. Tammy, 45 going down, and USF just complete control over this first point.
Yeah, having Bebop kind of as a flex pick is really, really good for their team, because we've seen Bebop on that D.Va, we've seen now Bebop on that Pharah, and both are just as intimidating, It's great to have that kind of flexibility on your team, because in situations where maybe you want somebody else to play a tank that they're stronger with and switch off, you can have Bebop on that Pharah, Bebop on those damage-dealing characters.
Definitely, as Complex doing some work in the backside, and that big res onto the Moira, but responded by one on the Widow. Does make life a little tough for USF, but again, St. Leo, they just can't even exit their base, and Huey raining down the snipes from the sky, and Bebop, another barrage already onto Richie, as the Shatter shut down Ziayi. It's going to lose that ability. With just 1:30 left on the clock, it feels like it's nearly doomed for St. Leo.
Yeah, it seemed like Yayi was kind of just using that ult to try and protect himself, trying to get away from USF, just kind of raining down all their abilities on him. But in the end, he really just, lost an ultimate.
Yeah, and I mean, you're bringing up how Bebop is that flex players. We're seeing the mines thrown into the back line, and Infrasight used as well, so that'll give USF some wall hacks, if you will, as you're going to pick up that health and stay nice and healthy.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that Overwatch, Overwatch is a very fun game.
Not for St. Leo right now, as we're seeing Dirk just ravage the backline. And what's brutal is Richie forced to go into the Orisa to try as the copy. And whoa, what are you doing back here, Complex? As Huey pushed very, very far back, and the shutdown of the Bongo by Huey. Good targeting. As St. Leo able to gain some ground, but still just 30 seconds left on the clock. If USF can shut this down here, that might be it. As not even needed, the dogfight goes the way of USF, and now if they can pick off the Mercy, that may be it. And indeed, Kinto finds her, as there's no more heals besides Genesis, and Bebop immediately shuts it down. And this is looking to be the final fight, the final stand for St. Leo, and is most certainly going the way of USF, with even Complex going very, very low and might actually die to the Widow Mine, or nearly does, as, again, the St. Leo team gave a valiant effort, but just like that final shot, it will be the end of this series. USF continuing their streak of dominance in NACE of Varsity, pushing their record to 7-0.
Yeah, it seems like USF really has a kind of a record of these really oppressive games. They do so much damage. They're able to push you back into your spawn. They have such great, synergy, such great ult economy, as shown by the play of the game here with Bebop.
Yeah, that was that really big barrage we weren't able to catch at the start, and oh boy, that just hurts sometimes when you just think about like how many times it happens in your ranked games where the FAR just gets behind you and you're like, oh my gosh, where was the hit scan looking?
Yeah.
But again, that happens, and great job for USF to find those openings. But that is going to be it from us here at USF Esports for tonight. USF Gold continuing their string of dominance in NACE, and we'll look to continue to do so moving towards playoffs. Harley, as your first cast, how did it feel?
Wow. it felt really good. It felt really good. You know, I've played Overwatch a lot. You know, it's a game I really enjoy. It's a game I'm starting to get back into now because I'm casting. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Awesome. That is amazing to hear. And of course, thank you for coming out. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you to our producers, Shashank and Caleb, holding down the fort behind the scenes. Of course, thank you everyone at home for watching, supporting our players, letting us do what we love, and all of that. And thank you from all of us here at USF Esports. Have a wonderful night.